Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly and maintenance video for you on this little guy right here. This is the Hogue knives, let's see here, A01 MS. I think it's the Cali Legal Microswitch Auto, something along those lines. Interesting little knife. Let's go on ahead and take it apart and see how things are functioning. So, this is an automatic knife. You press this button and the knife fires. It's useful to know, right? And it is a short little blade because it is California legal, and let's figure out how to take this apart. Okay, very first question on my mind is which of these screws do things I need to worry about. The pivot comes out from this side. This screw needs to be undone. As for the clip screws, it actually looks like both of them might go all the way through. So I think I'm probably going to have to remove all four of these screws, and because... Oh, this is going to be fun. Because the... Oh, man, the pivot screws in from the back side of a knife that's an auto. So I'm going to have to do this kind of in a flip-flopped way. Let's go on ahead and start taking this guy apart. Going ahead and remove the pivot first. I'm going to go on ahead and pull this guy off. At least they're not thread locking him or anything. That's nice. And Hogue's warranty, oh, that's free spinning, but it popped loose without too much pain. Hogue's warranty has gotten an order of magnitude better in the time I've been reviewing them because they now allow disassembly. I should be doing this differently. I should have the blade open so the spring is not there. But anyways, if you break it while you disassemble it, that's your problem, as it should be, but otherwise it's completely fine. So my goal right now is going to be to lift this scale off of here, but as I do so, it's actually going to release the spring, both the button lock spring here as well as the spring that is engaging the blade. Maybe it's wanting to come off this direction. Is there any other thing that's connecting these? There are no screws in the stop pin. No, I think it's just slowly coming apart. Okay, yeah, here we go. Oh, well, that's interesting. The spring is actually on the other side. So there is the button lock here, and the button lock spring exists and needs to live there. But then there's also the spring that deploys it, and you can actually see that spring down inside there right now. This makes it a little bit easier to disassemble from the back side there, but it's also... Okay, so that needs to get in there. Yeah, so that's the way that this knife works. The way that it has an automatic force is this little coil spring right here. A torsion spring? Not a springologist, sorry. But anyways, that's how this guy works. And now everything has come apart. All right. So we'll just need to be very careful to realign everything properly when we put things back together. But okay, aside from that, there's really not that much else of major interest going on inside this knife. What we do see here is the safety. And the safety just basically prevents the button lock. There's this little sliding bit here, and that prevents the button lock from moving. It prevents it from disengaging in either directions. That means the blade won't close or open when this is, if it's closed when you turn that on, it won't open, and vice versa. It cannot change state if you prefer. So that's how that works. The fact that this, that the spring is on the other side means that this is going to be much less awkward than I expected, which is great, but it's still going to be a little bit awkward relative to having everything you're just dropping on the scale at the end. But okay, what we see here is there are no washers, which is fine. You got a little, I don't know if this is a DLC or some other kind of coating here, but you've got a coated piece of metal that the blade is riding against. And so that's fine. Just apply some lubrication there. There is no detent, the detent ball, because it's an automatic, right? That's not a factor. Go ahead and clean this off here. And yeah, we're actually good to put this guy back together. There's really not too much to do in here. So, okay, for this guy, I'm going to use some knife pivot lube. It tends to provide a slightly nicer washer-style action. I'm just going to provide a couple of dots along the outside of this here. Okay, next step is actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this stop pin real quick. The reason I'm going to do that is that allows me to get this guy in alignment that isn't really alignment, and now I can use the leverage of the blade itself to rotate that blade around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the stop pin back in, and that's going to keep the blade in position. Now what I need to do is worry about the button lock area. Actually, now what I need to do is reinsert all of these accoutrements that have fallen out here. So let's go ahead and put that there, and then I'll put that there. Come on, I will try to put that there. So now all of this should be in place. Next step will be to, so the button lock actually needs to insert into here, which might not be workable with the blade fully seated. I don't know. Maybe I'll need to insert the button lock from the top. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that worked. Okay, cool. That way I didn't have to unseat the blade. Sure. Next step is going to be to put this backspacer back on, just like I'm doing right here. Boom. Is that plastic? Yeah, this is a plastic backspacer. All right. Not particularly crucial that it is or isn't, but just interesting. And then what I'm going to do is just drop this scale on. Actually, I was going to say I could move this down from here, and I might yet, but for the moment, I can just kind of slide this whole thing down onto here. And I think I'm good to go. So right now, I'm gonna rest my hand on there. Put in the pivot first. That should just keep everything that's gonna want to come flying apart from coming flying apart, right? Drop my T8 driver right in here, and just tighten this down. I'm not doing it all the way, right? Don't need to, but we see, yeah, we're back in position. Everything's running well. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is tighten up this screw here, which I recall also being T8. Yes, nice. Uniform screw size. Good job. Good job, he says patronizingly to somebody who actually knows how to make a knife. It's always the awkward part about, well, there are many awkward parts about being me, but about being a gear reviewer is it's just like, here I am standing in judgment of people who are massively more talented at this than I never really hoped to be. I guess it's kind of like the food critic calling out the chef, right? I can only make a freaking grilled cheese, but here I am. Even then, it's probably suspect. But here I am telling them how to do their jobs. That's life. Hopefully, my advocacy on the behalf of the fellow jackass who can't cook is at least welcome. If not by them, by you all. Okay, and I'm just turning this guy here. It is free spinning, so need to be a little careful with that. And I need to thread lock this guy back here. And I need to insert this. There we go. Now it's properly threaded. And I can tighten these guys up nice. I may need, oh no, I got it to bite, so to speak. That's tight, and then this guy should be tight as well. Clip ain't going anywhere. Now the question is, how's the pivot? Too loose. The reason I say that is that I have side-to-side play. The blade wants to waggle a little bit in that direction. So let me tighten the pivot up. Again, just using my T8 here. Oh yeah, no wonder that's too loose. Still too loose. All right. Keep on tightening. That's feeling a little constricted. So let me tighten this guy back up. Oh, wrong side. I gotta say, the way that they actually did the assembly there with the coil spring and everything like that made the way that you're doing this, although it seemed counterintuitive at first, it actually worked pretty well. So I gotta respect that element. They're doing things different, but what I thought was gonna be worse turned out just to mostly be different. Still a little loose here. I'm sorry, still a little tight. The nice part about a strong spring, automatic spring, is that the pivot doesn't need to be frictionless in order for the knife to reliably deploy. I still feel like I want to just turn that down the slightest little pinch. No play. Super reliable deployment. There we go. All right, and oh, let's make sure the safety still works. Indeed. Open the knife. It's worth noting that when when the button is pressed down, you'll have a little bit of play, but the knife isn't able to close. Now pull the safety back, put the button in. There we go. We are flipping. So, there we go. Nice and easy. That turned out to be a lot more straightforward than I expected. And, yeah, I hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.